First as a daughter whose own family was directly affected by detention, and then because part of the social justice team were together with faith leaders, labor unions, and community members, we stood week after week to demand dignity, accountability, and humanity. Together, we the people shut down Alligator Alcatraz. But our work did not end when Alligator Alcatraz closed. Our commitment was never to a facility. Our commitment was to the people inside it. When the men detained at Alligator Alcatraz were transferred to detention centers across the country, including the Federal Detention Center right behind us, we continued following their stories. We remained in contact with their families, documented the abuses, and continued elevating their voices because changing the building did not end the suffering. That work brings us here today. The family standing behind me have described overcrowded cells, inadequate access to drinking water, extreme heat without air conditioning, inadequate medical care, and retaliation against the men who spoke publicly about those conditions, including placement in solitary confinement. No one should face retaliation for speaking about the conditions of their confinement. No one should be denied access to water, medical care, or humane living conditions while in government custody. Human rights do not end at the detention center door. Across this country, we are witnessing an escalation in the use of immigration detention and growing concern about the treatment of people in custody. Regardless of where we stand politically, every person deserves to be treated with dignity, humanity, and respect. The Worker Circle was founded by Jewish immigrants who fled persecution in search for freedom, dignity, and democracy. That history continues to guide our work today. We believe that when human dignity is threatened, we have a responsibility to bear witness, to organize, and to stand with those whose voices are too often unheard. Today, these families are calling for oversight. They are calling for transparency. They are calling for accountability. They are calling for humane conditions. And they are calling for the people they love to be treated with the dignity every human being deserves. I ask that you listen to their experiences, recognize the courage it takes to stand here today, and carry these stories beyond these walls. Spanish. Judith Castellano will be our first speaker.
Hi, my name is Judith Castellanos. My regular language is more Spanish, but I know many people here speak English, so I try my best. My name is Judith Castellanos. Repeat again. My husband name is Marlon Cervero. He's already 6 months, like a 100 days inside. So he's on the time he's supposed for the law, he's outside. I asking here for him. I am the him voice, and I asking for justice because we have the human rights, and they are not in human position right now. They are no ice condition. They don't have the good food. They treat me like an animal. They are locked out, locked all the time, and they himself. That is not good. They have the cockroach. They have the mold in the wood or paredes. Okay. Ellos están ahora en una situación muy inhumana. Están llenos de cucarachas. Están llenos de mohos por todas las partes. Ese es el aire que ellos están respirando porque el calor es insoportable. Y eso lo respira y llega a los pulmones. So que la situación de ellos puede formarse más grave de lo que está. Yo estoy aquí por él. Yo estoy aquí por él pidiendo justicia. Porque ya él cumplió con la justicia. Él no tiene que estar en una alta seguridad como si fuera un criminal o un delincuente. Él, por hacer las cosas bien, está ahí donde está. Porque hubieron muchas voces que le dijeron, no vayas a tu cita. Y él dijo, no, yo creo en las leyes de este país y creo en la justicia. Y lo dejaron. Lo vi entrar a las 7 de la mañana y no lo vi salir más. Y él estaba trabajando, pagando sus taxes, es buen hijo, es buen esposo, es mi media mitad. Y no es justo. Yo lo único que pido es justicia, que le den el trato que llevan, que se respeten las leyes cuando uno va a aplicarlas, que sean justos. No tengo palabras, es mucho el dolor que tengo y con palabras no les puedo describir todo lo que siento. Solamente pido justicia, justicia para esos hombres que muchos han reivindicado su vida. Mi nombre es Judith Castellanos y llevo en este país 31 años y soy ciudadana americana, por lo tanto conozco mis derechos. Mi esposo se llama Marlon Cervero Trujillo, lleva casi 21 años en este país. Él tiene 51 que los cumplió allá adentro. Si quieren preguntarme algo más, estoy muy dispuesta y no le tengo miedo a nada.
¿Qué le dice su esposo de
Vamos a hacer las preguntas, vamos a dejar que hablen todas las
Para
familias
que cada
por
uno
la
de ellos
seguridad.
me preguntan lo que quieran después, estoy para eso.
My name is Annette Ustet Dumont. This guy you see on my shirt, his name is Detained Dumont Rodriguez, and he's currently in the FDC up in solitary confinement because I decided to talk to the news about the inhumane conditions. He's been in solitary confinement for the past 3 days, and I don't know what's going on with him. I haven't been able to speak with him. We've been in this process for the past 8 months. He was in alligator Alcatraz for the first 5. Then he was transferred to Chrome, and from Chrome, he's been in this building, FDC, you see behind me, for the past 3 weeks, going on 4. He describes to me the conditions in there are worse than alligator Alcatraz. There is no portable water. They have to drink out of their sinks. Their bathrooms don't work. There's no hygiene at all. There's cockroaches in the food carts because he does serve food in there. It's just inhumane. There's no air conditioning. They're locked up 24/7. They're out maybe 2 or 3 hours a day. I'm an American, born and raised in this country. My husband has been here for 16 years. He's followed after he completed his case. He was under supervision and he went to every one of his visits. And they came to my house without a warrant and they arrested him. And since then, my family has been going through a lot. I have a 4-year-old who is diagnosed with ADHD and autism, and he has been suffering from emotional and behavioral issues since this happened in my house. ¿En español? Ok, mi nombre es Annette Ustet Dumont, yo soy la esposa de Detained Dumont, que ven aquí en la foto. Él lleva 3 días trancado por alzar tu voz, por decir lo inhumano, las condiciones que están pasando aquí. No tienen agua, no tiene los baños y están muy calientes o muy fríos. Él está trabajando ahí adentro, aunque no tiene que trabajar. Él ayuda a los guardias, él le da la comida y él me dice que los carros de comida están infectados de cucarachas. Los inodoros no trabajan. Hay un calor que tienen que dormir en calzoncillos porque los aire acondicionados no trabajan. Yo sé que ustedes todos hablaron con la federal y dijeron que los aire acondicionados ya estaban trabajando. Eso es mentira. No están trabajando, ellos todavía están pasando calor y las condiciones ahí son inhumanas, 100% inhumanas. Y lo yo estoy pidiendo justicia con mi esposo porque ella lleva 8 meses más de lo que él tiene que estar ahí adentro y yo creo que era justicia por las malas condiciones para que pueda pasar su proceso de migración.
Y le han dado 3 pancreatitis agudas. Cuando estuvo en Trump, le dio una pancreatitis que lo llevó a estar ingresado 5 días de terapia intensiva, porque tenía los triglicéridos en 1500. Yo pido justicia porque en este lugar no tiene condiciones, no tiene medicamentos. injusticia porque allá adentro le dicen que la utilización de 1500 es una cosa muy normal. Y desgraciadamente en estos momentos él tiene síntomas de otra pancreatitis más. Y yo tengo miedo que sus hijos no puedan ver a su mamá por una injusticia. Lleva 8 meses detenido injustamente. Yo lo que estoy pidiendo es que tenga una medicación justa. Lo que estoy pidiendo es que ya cumplió lo que tenía que cumplir, por favor. Que saquen ahí. Todos, que saquen de ahí. Es injusto. Es injusto. Y tengo miedo de no poder verlo otra vez. Es un padre ejemplar. Es un lugar que las mismas personas no tengan medicación. Eso no es posible. Libertad, justicia.
Here with you today because Congress is in session, but she asked me to convey her unwavering support for the family members gathered here and her deep concern over the reports coming out of this facility. The allegations of abuse, retaliation, and inhumane conditions are unacceptable and demand immediate investigation and accountability. Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz has made oversight of immigration detention a top priority. Over the past 2 years, she's conducted repeated unannounced tours of detention facilities across South Florida, including Chrome, the Miramar Ice Field Office, and the Everglades Internment Camp, which she fought tirelessly to shut down alongside local advocates. She's pressed DHS and ICE directly over reports of overcrowding, medical neglect, prolonged detention, and violations of detainees' rights. She's demanded answers from the administration, worked with advocates and families to document abuses, and fought to ensure that no detention facility operates beyond public scrutiny. She has also led efforts in Congress to protect immigrant families and restore humanity to our immigration system. She sponsored legislation to prevent the separation of families during immigration enforcement, championed protections for TPS holders and other long-residing immigrants, and repeatedly opposed policies that prioritize fear and mass detention over due process and common sense. The allegations we're hearing today are troubling, deeply troubling, not only because of the reported conditions, but because of the claims that people were punished simply for speaking out. Retaliation against detainees who report abuse has no place in a nation committed to the rule of law and basic human dignity. Every person in government custody retains fundamental rights, including the right to be treated humanely. Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz stands with these families, calling for a full and independent investigation into conditions at this facility, an end to retaliation against detainees, and immediate action to ensure safe, humane conditions and access to necessary medical care. To the families here today, thank you for your courage. Your voices matter. Congressman Wasserman Schultz will continue using every oversight and legislative tool available to demand transparency, accountability, and dignity for every person in federal custody. Congresswoman's office may be able to assist if you or a loved one are in need of assistance with an immigration matter or if you need help with a federal agency. You can get more information about the Congresswoman's work or request assistance at our official website, which is wassermanschultz.house.gov, or you can call our district office at 954-845-1179. Thank you, and the Congresswoman and our whole team are proud to stand in solidarity with you all in this fight. Thank you.
detention facilities have been operating beyond capacity like FDC, and it has been deadly. Last year, Johnny Noville, a Canadian man, died here at FDC. And earlier this year, Alain Daniel Gavinel Betancourt, a Cuban man, died here. These deaths are not accidents, but the result of a system that treats human beings as disposable, rather than people with rights and dignity. There is no humane way to detain people who have done no crime. If someone seeks asylum, if someone's fleeing violence, if someone crosses a border looking for a better life, they do not deserve to be locked up. To the families with loved ones behind me, detained here, and to the families elsewhere, we see you. We grieve with you and we fight for you. And your loved ones are not forgotten. And I know that our struggle here isn't unique. I want to stand in solidarity with our comrades at Delancey Hall who have been harassed, doxxed, and targeted for standing against an unconstitutional act of violence. You are not alone, and we here will not stop. And we will not rest, not until every page is empty, not until no one is detained for who they are or where they come from. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Buenas tardes a todos y todas. For me, this is not a moment about preparing remarks. This is about a moment of solidarity. And I'm speaking from the heart. An attack against one of us is an attack against all of us. Ataque contra uno de nosotros, an ataque contra todos y todas. We want to express our solidarity. Ariane Betancourt, Father Busto, and every person who's been in the fight against the cruelty that we saw for close to a year at the Federal Detention Center, and how that attack is directly related to the immigrant detentions that are occurring on the Florida highways, the attempts to end GPS, 350,000 patients, GPS holders, most of whom are in Florida, many here in South Florida, and also attacks that we've seen killing our community members in Texas, in Maine, and now in Florida. So we at the Family Action Network will speak in unity and unison with every organization that's here. To remind you, we are here. We're resigning do. We will continue to be here because we belong here. If they try to chase us out, we will come back. Okay? Because we are part and parcel of Florida, its economy, its culture, its society. Saving people in emergency rooms, keeping care of the elderly, particularly in senior homes, in the hospitals, health centers, the economy. We are essential workers. We are essential members of the community. Thank you very much. Okay? Viva los migrantes.
Good afternoon. My name is Alexandra Orellana. I am here representing the Florida Immigrant Coalition and their South Florida organizers. We're gathered outside here today, outside the Federal Detention Center, because dozens of people who were previously detained in the Everglades detention camp have now been transferred here in downtown Miami. Closing the Everglades detention camp should have meant ending the suffering that took place there. Instead, people were moved from one nightmare to another. Families and people detained inside this facility have reported an unbearable heat and a lack of air conditioning. People are literally sleeping in their underwear because the temperatures are so intense, and they are being forced to live alongside an infestation of cockroaches. These are not acceptable conditions for anyone. The people inside this facility are not numbers. They are our friends, our neighbors, our co-workers, our loved ones, and our families. They are people navigating an extraordinarily complex immigration system. They have families who are desperately trying to locate them, speak with them, and ensure that they're safe. No person should ever be denied basic dignity simply because of their immigration status. Moving people from one abusive detention facility to another does not solve anything. It will only hide the harm behind a different set of walls. These conditions are the direct result of the Trump administration's incompetent and people into detention without regard for their individual circumstances. They separate families, destabilize communities, and manufacture fear throughout our state of Florida. This does not make our community safer. Safety comes from trust. Safety comes from families being able to remain together. Safety comes from people knowing that they can go to work, take care of their children, seek medical care, and ask for help without being taken away from the communities that they call home. The Florida Immigrant Coalition is calling for immediate transparency and accountability regarding the conditions inside this facility. We demand that the people being held here have access to air conditioning, clean, sanitary living spaces, adequate medical care, communication with their families, access to legal counsel, and full respect for their due process rights. But improving the conditions inside one facility is not enough. We must also confront the larger system that continues to criminalize and imprison innocent people who are navigating our immigration process. We cannot allow detention centers to operate in secrecy. We cannot allow people to be transferred from facility to facility where their families struggle to find them or to find them the necessary medical care. We cannot accept cruelty as immigration policy. We will continue to speak out. We will continue to bear witness. And we will continue organizing alongside directly impacted people and their families until every member of our community is treated with the dignity, safety, and humanity that they deserve. Thank you.
I'll be brief because I know that people want to get to questions, and I think that what's most important is that we center the families. My name is Yarelis Pendez Zamora, and I serve as a policy coordinator for American Friends Service Committee, a Quaker faith-based organization. I want to be clear, there is no humane detention. On my way over here, I heard the news about yet another death in an ICE facility. So these families are right to be terrified. This is not an unfounded fear. This is very real and grounded in reality that is painted with blood, that is painted with food infested by cockroaches. I want viewers to imagine, what if this was your father in these conditions? You don't know about him. You don't know if he's getting the medicine that he desperately needs. You don't know if he has access to legal counsel. You don't know if he's okay or not. And so in these moments, I want to uplift the demands of the families, which is transparency, justice, and again, for their loved ones to come home, to the home that they have built for decades. Hola, mi nombre es Yarelis Méndez Zamora. Yo soy la coordinadora de política para American Friends Service Committee, una organización de fe cuáquero. Yo en estos momentos de verdad les quiero dar las gracias a las familiares que han hablado y tomar el momento de levantar sus demandas por justicia, por simplemente que sus seres queridos regresen a las casas que ellos han construido, a los lugares que ellos han construido por décadas. Esto también es su hogar. Yo quiero que los que están viendo esta conferencia de prensa se imaginen que si fuera sus padres que están en estas condiciones, donde en este calor horrorífico no tienen acceso a aire acondicionado, no tienen acceso a comida, no tienen acceso a ni siquiera poder hablar, a su dirección. Es algo de verdad que yo no me imagino cómo ellos pueden hacer esto a seres humanos. Cada uno de nosotros merecemos dignidad y respeto. Y de verdad que esto es un castigo que nadie merece. Los están castigando simplemente por existir y simplemente por ser inmigrantes. Gracias.
We will now be going in to questions. Vamos a empezar ahora con las preguntas. Once again, we are here today to elevate the families of the voices of the families involved. Estamos aquí para elevar las voces de los familiares que están detenidos en FDC. Lo que están pasando en estos centros no es algo casual. Se está escuchando lo mismo de todos los centros de detención en todas partes de este país. Y estamos pidiendo a que las personas que estén en posiciones de poder lleguen a todos estos centros y hagan inspecciones inmediatamente. Gracias.
Okay, so the lady that is, her husband is on solitary confinement. Can you come forward? State your name again. What did he specifically do to end up on solitary confinement?
He didn't do anything.
he told me the conditions he was in, and I went ahead and got in contact with the news to let you know what's going on. And I came out in 10 news, and since they saw him on the news, they had bullied him and picked on him. And since then, they came and picked him up on Monday, and he's been in solitary confinement for speaking up on the inhumane conditions that he did.
When was the last time you talked to him?
Sunday night.
Did he say he was being placed on solitary confinement?
No.
How did you find out?
I have recording, and I've spoken to multiple people that are in there. Their husbands have called me to let me know. His cellmate, he said, he told my cellmate, I know they're going to come there. Come for me. I have a feeling they're going to come for me, because when you talk what's going on in here, they're going to come get for me. He knew it, so he told the inmate that's with him to call me. I have the recording on my phone of what he told me, saying that I'm calling you because like, they knew they were going to come get him, because they were bullying him, saying, oh, you're the famous one, because you came up and you spoke up. So they came and picked him up. His inmate called me, and he told me that the captain told him that they were picking it up because he spoke to the news, and that everything he said was a lie, which we all know it's not.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Can you get a video?
So the workers circle, we're working directly with families of the detained and the detainees to document the abuse. We're exposing the abuse. Anytime we get a report about another inhumane and cruel action in one of these detention centers, we make sure that everybody else knows who we are. Everybody?
María, que vengas al micrófono.
No, I'm saying that we are documenting. We are documenting every call and every people that are calling me. We are documenting what is going on here and in Miramar. So we are sending those cases to everyone that should know. She was the only one who went to Miramar, for example. We need more in that side of people. This is not detention center. They are clandestine detention. You know, I'm from South America. I'm from Argentina. So it's making feel like in my country, you know, dictatorship, centro clandestino. They are not supervising by anybody. They are doing whatever they want. They don't care. They don't have accountability. This is crazy. What is happening in this country is crazy.
¿Puede ser español, María, por favor?
So, en español,
Pues, gracias.
estamos documentando todos los casos y se los estamos mandando a abogados y se los estamos mandando a la congresista de mi voz semanal. Al menos yo le mandé 16 casos a ella. Ella es la única que ha ido a hacer una orden de supervisión en Miramar. Yo estoy hablando por Miramar y por este lugar. Estos no son centros de detención, estos son centros clandestinos. Yo soy argentina, a mí esto me hace acordar a mi país. Hay gente secuestrada. Estoy escuchando de personas que les agarran, le tapan la boca, la meten en un auto y la llevan a Miramar o la traen acá o a no sé dónde. Entonces, estos son centros de detención clandestina que no están bajo supervisión de nadie, que se están riendo de las autoridades, están riendo de los
limpió, no ha hecho nada. Entonces, de verdad estamos muy molestos con lo que está sucediendo y tienen que hablar. Ella dijo algo de Argentina y yo voy a hablar por Cuba. ¿Con qué moral aquí pueden hablar de lo que está pasando en Cuba cuando aquí ya se está viviendo? Exactamente, ¿dónde está la moral para hablar de Cuba? Si Cuba se está limpiando con lo que está pasando aquí. Exactamente. Están poniéndonos de muestra de que cómo me vas a criticar a mí cuando en tu país está pasando esto. Hay que tener un poco de vergüenza y los dedos de frente.
Esta gente vinieron de Cuba tratando de negar el comunismo y aquí le están haciendo lo mismo, lo están tratando hasta peor.
Exactamente. Peor que un preso político. Es demasiado. Justicia sobre
Justicia
todo.
lo que estamos pidiendo.
Justicia.
Y cuando hablas y dices algo, te castigan.
Es que precisamente llegamos a este país porque era el país de las leyes, el país de los respetos a los derechos humanos. Yo llegué en el 95, yo estoy aquí desde cuando esto se podía vivir.
¿Qué le dirías a las familias que tienen detenidos? ¿Qué les pedirías a las familias?
Que se unan a la lucha si puedan,
Que hablen.
que no nos va a pasar nada porque tenemos nuestros derechos.
Que no
Y la
tengan
única
miedo.
voz que se va a oír no es la de ellos, que no es la de nosotros.
Ellos tienen su voz silenciada. Ellos
Exactamente.
no pueden hablar. Y los que hablan toman represalias
Exacto,
contra
como
ellos.
ya tenemos al esposo de ellos.
Como el esposo mío, que él siempre está ayudando a todo el mundo y por hablar, ahora lo tienen castigado. Llevo 3 días sin hablar con él, no sé qué está pasando con él, ni nadie me puede dar. There's no accountability. No se sabe lo que está pasando con él. Yo no sé si le está bien, si está mal o si sigue ahí. Porque no me han dicho nada.
Es injusto todo lo que está pasando.
I have a question for the gentleman from Debbie Wasserman Schultz's office. So, is there anything else that Congresswoman Schultz can do to make this situation better?
Right. So the Congresswoman has been very vocal about the need to protect the human rights of people, whether they're in detention or going through their legal process. So she has made it a habit to visit these facilities, which is why you've heard the testimonies of the families here and people saying when you see something, when your family member tells you something, you need to speak out, because those are the things that our office operates on. When people contact our office, the Congresswoman's office, we make it a point to go visit that facility, talk to that person, and make sure that their rights are being kept. Now,